Welcome everyone to Things Around 8. Dear friends, in this video we will talk about what exactly Vladimir Putin went to North Korea for, and what Kim Jong-un wants in return. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any news. On Tuesday, June 18th, Vladimir Putin began a historic 2-day visit to North Korea, his first in 24 years. When Putin was last in this country, the dictator was Kim Jong-il, the father of the current dictator Kim Jong-un. The visit, announced at very short notice for security reasons, is the culmination of a long process of rapprochement between Russia and North Korea, which began in 2022 with the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Before the invasion, North Korea's largest and most important partner was China, with Russia, which before the invasion was 100% integrated into the Western economic and trade system, playing a rather secondary role in North Korea, with Putin fearing that any closer ties with that country could attract sanctions from Europe, at the time its largest trading partner. But now, with Russia becoming the most sanctioned nation on the planet, ahead of even North Korea, Putin no longer needs to be so careful, assuming once and for all the role of North Korea's greatest ally. But what exactly does Putin want from North Korea? And what does Kim Jong-un want in return? The answer to what Putin wants is quite simple. He wants weapons and ammunition to be able to maintain his effort to invade Ukraine. That war, initially planned to be quick, a mere special military operation, as the Russians call it, has now, 2 years and 4 months later, become a long, terrible and exhausting war of attrition, with no deadline or forecast for its end. With Putin facing increasingly committed Ukrainians in their defense, and, just as importantly, a West equally committed to providing Ukrainians with all the means necessary for that defense, the Russian invasion of Ukraine is rapidly turning into an endless war, similar to the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in the 1980s, which drained enormous material and economic resources from the Soviet Union and actively contributed to accelerating the Soviet collapse. In such a scenario, of a war of attrition with no end in sight, not even Russia's gigantic arsenals are enough. Since the beginning of the invasion, Russia has maintained an average of 10 to 15,000 artillery rounds per day. This means that in these 2 years and 4 months alone, Russia may have spent 10 to 12 million artillery shells of various calibers on Ukraine. This is a truly monstrous amount of ammunition, capable of seriously affecting any arsenal, including Russia's. And that is why Putin so badly needs partners with large ammunition depots. Xi Jinping's China could be that partner. But the Chinese have their eyes on Taiwan, and know that they will need every shell and missile to try to invade and conquer that island at some point in the future. Iran, another major partner and ally of Putin, is also unwilling to give up large parts of its arsenal, as it knows that it needs all of its weapons and ammunition to arm the groups that attack Israel, with the Iranians limiting themselves to selling Russia attack drones like the Shahed 136. Therefore, the only one left is North Korea, a country that for many decades was heavily armed by China and the Soviet Union, who expected the continuation of the Korean War, temporarily halted in 1953. But since that war fortunately remained frozen, the North Koreans accumulated impressive quantities of weapons and ammunition, with sources reporting figures ranging from 25 to 30 million artillery shells. Munitions that North Korea no longer needs as much now that it has achieved full nuclear power status. And that is why Putin is turning to Kim Jong-un to acquire the munitions he so desperately needs to continue invading Ukraine. Kim Jong-un, for his part, needs many things. Because it is an isolated and heavily sanctioned country, because it does not have an advanced and consolidated basic industry, and because it has a communist dictatorial regime that has destroyed the means of production, including agriculture, over the decades. North Korea now needs everything, starting with basic items such as food, with several sources reporting that the level of malnutrition and cases of death caused by the low quantity and quality of food are alarmingly high in that country. North Koreans also need basic items such as oil and natural gas, all of which can easily be supplied by Putin. But Kim Jong-un also urgently needs other items that, for him, are even more important. I am referring to technologies for the modernization of its nuclear weapons and its arsenal of ballistic missiles. North Korea, at the cost of the misery and hunger of its people, has managed to become a full-fledged nuclear power, capable of launching compact nuclear warheads on top of missiles with ranges of over 10,000 kilometers. However, despite North Korea having this capability, its technology is still far from being consolidated, as we only need to look at the several cases of failed North Korean missile launches over the last few years. That is why Kim Jong-un urgently needs advanced technologies that Russia can perfectly well provide if, in exchange, it receives a few million artillery shells. Something that is already happening, with South Korean intelligence recently reporting that the North Koreans sent Russia at least 5 million artillery shells, enough to guarantee 15,000 rounds of fire per day for almost an entire year of invasion of Ukraine. During Putin's current visit, it is believed that one of the purposes involves further increasing the amount of North Korean ammunition supplied to Russia. But in exchange, in addition to all the items I have mentioned here, Kim Jong-un also asked for something else. A strategic and military security pact similar to a military alliance was signed on Wednesday, June 19. Through this pact, if North Korea is attacked, Russia undertakes to send troops to defend it. And if Russia is attacked, North Korea promises to get directly involved in the war. This leaves a very important question in the air. Could Vladimir Putin now ask for direct military support from North Korea for the war of aggression he has launched against Ukraine? Since Russia views the regions of Lugansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhzhia and Kherson as Russian regions, Ukrainian attacks on these regions are seen by Moscow as attacks on Russian territory. Putin could use this distorted argument to ask for, in addition to weapons and ammunition, hundreds of thousands of North Korean troops for his invasion of Ukraine. As has become quite obvious here, neither Putin nor Kim has anything to lose from this. Both are the dictatorial leaders of the two most sanctioned countries in the world, and both find in the other what they need most at this moment. Therefore, for Putin and Kim, there is nothing stopping them from diving into a conflict together, as long as they continue to receive everything they want from this partnership. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and activate the notification bells so you don't miss any news.